You like to be called, oh, you can't hear me? Is your audio on? Wait, now you can't hear. Could you check your volume? Volume. Check your volume. All right, well, let's see what happens. Hey, Lisa. Can you hear me, Lisa?
Hi.
Hi.
Robbie, I can see that you're muted, so see if that helps you. Does it say unmute?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I can't hear you.
You
You
can't?
can't hear. She
Okay,
can't hear me.
it's probably a volume issue. So do you know where your volume is on your computer or your okay, so let's do this. Let me chat to Robbie.
Hey, Donna.
Hi.
We're trying to help Robbie with her volume, or
Okay. Yeah.
she's got it.
Oh, okay, good. All right. Yay. Okay.
Yay. Okay.
Oh, look at the clouds. So my
Isn't this cute? Wait, how do I show everything?
Wow.
Oh, sweet.
I know, it's very sweet. They're out getting coffee. But man, you guys, she does things so much differently. She even puts the baby's towel in the dryer before she dries him off so that it's warm and cozy. And so I'm not doing the best job over here.
No. Well, you know what, Janet, think about that long term. Think about what he's going to expect when he's an adult. So I think that you're supposed to set him up with sparse and then everything else is great. My sister is an artist, my one that's right below me. Actually, they both are, I guess. And I asked her for clouds in my son's room when Spencer was a baby. So she came in to paint them, and oh my God, they were realistic clouds. It wasn't anything like what you have. They were these big clouds with, oh, it was so beautiful. And we put stars on the ceiling. It was fun. So
where's Colleen been, Lisa?
well, number one, politics, because she's on the board of directors for the Orange County Women Democratic group. And so up until last week, she was every Monday in meetings. So that's where she's been. Right now, I think she's in Wisconsin. I don't know if she's back or not, but I think she's there visiting her boyfriend's family.
Oh,
so
she's still with that guy, huh?
Yeah.
Paul, his name Paul?
Paul, his name's Paul. Yep, she's still with him. Woohoo! Marilyn, actually now I have to edit this first half of this video in case she goes back and watches it. I'm trying to be supportive. Marilyn, so I shared with everybody that needed to be shared with what you said last week in regards to my friend Rose that had passed. If you guys don't know, we had a few minutes afterwards and I asked Marilyn how my friend was doing, and 20 minutes later I had a whole bunch of notes. And so I went in and it literally made a difference to every single one of them. They found the humor, so they were laughing. They found the tears, so they were crying. But it was such a gift, Marilyn, and I just need you to know how grateful I am that you did that. For me too, for me. So
Well, anytime. It's so funny because when you mentioned it, I had absolutely no recollection, like none, until he goes, hey. Oh yeah, okay. And then it all comes back. That's how it works.
Yeah.
But no, I realize I love channeling. So if there's ever,
well, the mom, his mother, I did mention to them that that Rose had suggested that we put her in some formaldehyde so he has some time. Marilyn said that he said to her he has time, he needs some time to work on his relationship with his mother, who is still alive. Rose is in his 70s and his mom is deep into her 90s. And so their relationship was pretty contentious, to say the least. And so Rose suggested that he needed some time to do some work, and if we wouldn't mind trying to keep her here on the earth for a little bit longer, maybe up to 120 years, and maybe formaldehyde would work.
He's funny.
So I will wait until everybody gets here today. Marie's not going to join us, so I think we'll have a free for all today. I know, especially this last chapter of that book. I'm like, oh my God, I'm not angry. And Janet's going to lead us today in a meditation. I think a Thanksgiving meditation is what you suggested, Janet. So we'll give everybody a few more minutes to get on, and then I'm sure a topic will come to mind. It doesn't take us much to find something.
You know what, Lisa, it was so funny because I was thinking about the Thanksgiving meditation. I said, are we really going to go from there to hate and anger? And I was going like, I don't know. Yeah, so I'm glad. Yeah.
Oh, just two quick things before you move on. Rose wants to tell you thank you because he says you're the glue that kind of holds everyone together, and he just loves you so much, and he is doing fine. So he wanted to make sure to tell you that. The other thing is, Janet, that room, we did clouds, 39 years ago. It's so cute.
But it's because he's a pilot. Let's see if I can show the airplanes up there.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And the airplanes over there. And this
Sweet.
little boy smiles now, and it makes it so fun.
So do you have to take a COVID test when you walk into the house?
Well, because I brought COVID here 5 weeks ago or whatever, I won't bring it again, I guess. I've heard that it's a couple months before you can get it again. But man, even if I sneeze, I know I better get out of here.
Or just hold it.
Oh, one more thing. I keep interrupting. Happy birthday, Mary Beth.
Yeah, Mary Beth, that memory popped up today in Facebook, and so let me just see if I can get the picture to blow up so everyone can see how beautiful it is of you on your birthday last year. Was it last year? Oh, geez. We can't hear you, Mary Beth.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't have my microphone down. All right.
So let me see if I can find it. Talk amongst yourselves.
Okay, I'd like to ask Mary Beth, and it also was Lynn's birthday last Thursday, so you two have.
Oh, happy birthday, Lynn.
Yeah, I don't know if she's on yet.
She's not on, I don't know.
Yeah, but hopefully I can talk or text you about meeting with you and Hector tomorrow. Do
Yeah.
you know about that? Okay.
I know about that, yes.
Well, yay to Nancy Pelosi for making
Yeah,
the younger generation. Good call.
yeah, no, and she just deserves to rest. I mean, oh my gosh, what she's been through with her husband, that is just awful.
Mhm,
So, yeah, time for her.
mhm.
There's been, it's been not a great news week by any means, right?
Did other folks notice a difficult week energy-wise this past week, or just me?
It always
Extremely. It was really a hard one for me.
Okay.
And the week before.
Yeah.
And the week before that.
Every week is a hard week in a different way. So just from a much larger perspective, you're really being asked to reconsider your life journey. Are you happy with it? Are you not happy with it? What do you have to excavate? What do you have to build? And it doesn't matter what age you are. It doesn't matter if you're 13 or if you're 93. You're being asked to do the same thing. And then based on the life journey that you choose, to commit to it wholeheartedly. Whether it's easy, whether it's hard, whether it's in between, doesn't really matter. It's about your commitment to that journey, to see it through to completion, and being willing to hold that courage as a light for everyone else. So that's why things are hard.
I'm feeling that responsibility kind of coming in, and So yeah, I'm just immersing myself, and I'm reading now a book by Michael Singer, not The Untethered Soul, but something that came after. And I'm finding that really helpful because it speaks to how my thought forms are interfering, and not accepting things, just being accepting and not resisting. I'm a resistor, I guess.
That's
So I'm
real.
working on it.
That's
And
painful. Resistance
and
is
uh,
painful.
yeah.
Painful.
But I have there's a shaman who I met with once, and we've been communicating, and I'm going to meet with her again. And I expect that it's going to be powerful. So we'll see.
Mhm. Good for you.
Thank you. Thanks. Well, we're all in this together.
Thank
Oh,
goodness. Oh, that's pretty.
yeah.
That's great photo.
When I still had
Wow.
curly
Lovely.
hair from chemo, yeah. It's amazing what a year will do. Thank you. That was pretty. Lynn, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
You're muted, Lynn. But
I read her lips.
You can read her lips. We can see what it says.
I said happy birthday to you too, and thank you.
Yes.
I have to stay muted in case Colette wants to join.
Mm.
Well, how are you doing, Lynn? How is Austin?
I'll be back.
Okay, all right. We'll talk to you soon then. Janet, maybe we can get started. Marilyn, if you want to do the protection prayer. If anyone else joins, they'll join. Do you want to finish chewing first?
Breakfast, protein bar. I always forget to eat breakfast, so at least on Zoom days, I remember and have a protein bar. Yay.
Absolutely the worst. Like when you're at a restaurant and you've just taken a bite and the server comes by and says, "How is everything?" And you're like,
Yeah, exactly.
"Okay."
Everyone else finished chewing? No, that was just me. And take a deep breath. And just feel the sweet energy of the day and being together. We clothe ourselves in a robe of light composed of the love, the power, and the wisdom of divine consciousness. We wear it not only for our own protection, but also so that those who see it or come in contact with it will be drawn to divine and healed. Take a breath and feel the sunlight and all the light just filling you up, emanating from you, connecting to each of us and to the all. And we are the light. And take a breath. And there it is.
It's almost as if Marilyn knows my meditations. We are going to imagine by taking a deep breath, like Marilyn said, breathing in, feeling connected to one another, to this week of Thanksgiving, to the energy of gratitude. And I'm going to ask you to imagine that you're at the top of a hill or mountain at sunrise, as Marilyn said, with the light. And so as you're sitting, whether you like to sit on the ground or a comfortable chair or a bench or whatever you can imagine, at the top of whatever mountain or hill you want to be on. And you're watching the dawn of a new day, feeling that wonderful light, feeling the warmth, feeling the energy that asks nothing in return. It just shows up, light our way, to warm us, to give our planet the life that it has. So we can start our week of Thanksgiving in gratitude for the sun and for each sunrise that we've been able to experience in the days of our lives here on this planet. And as you're at the top of the hill or mountain, I'm going to ask you to look back on your life. Look back as if you're watching the journey of your life behind you. You may see that you've climbed many mountains or crossed streams or oceans. Really, we've probably traveled around the whole earth several times in our journeys on airplanes, cars, the steps we have taken. In our lives, we've traveled beyond what we can even imagine. And in this week of Thanksgiving, it would be wonderful to start thinking of the people, the adventures, the places, the awarenesses of all that has been given to us through the experience of life. And taking a deep breath, allowing yourself to feel gratitude for your childhood, for anything that you learned, any love you experienced, any strength that was gained, any courage that you developed, any knowledge that as little people we start accumulating a knowledge, awareness of this world. And you may be aware of the spiritual guides that were around you in whatever form that kept you safe enough to be here today. So you look back at the childhood days, that could be hills and mountains beyond where you're sitting right now. And as you were growing up, acknowledging the sources of love, compassion, understanding, the teachers that we've had. And the teachers may be someone that wasn't a school teacher, but a teacher of life that came in to guide you, to enlighten you, to help you along this pathway on earth. And in this week of Thanksgiving, beginning with the past, you may want to acknowledge friends, family, those teachers we've talked about. Anyone that you'd love to send that loving energy and appreciation to, in whatever form they might be today. So allow that to come in. The animals, the pets, the plants, the homes, the people. And hopefully your heart starts to feel very full of all that we have to be grateful for. And then we think of more recent times, just as we were talking about these past years of challenges, where we've all been asked to step up our game, to show more love and compassion, to become stronger, to become more adaptable, and more determined. So we can thank these challenges, for we know they're going to help us in the future. And as you're sitting on that mountain or hilltop, feel your body. Feel the years, the miles, the people, the places that your earthly body has traveled and stayed healthy enough to get you through. And you might be aware of your brain, your heart, your lungs, your eyes, your ears, your mouth, your nose, your feet, your hands, that whole physical body that has experienced decades of life. And sending gratitude to every cell, to every molecule, to every breath you've had, to every heartbeat that has continued. And on that mountaintop or hilltop, the strength and determination that you still have as you look to your future. And as Alona said, whatever we're here to create, to participate in, to support, to unfold, we want to do it to the best of our ability. So as you look forward, you may see more hills, more mountains. You may see a warm ocean or rivers to cross. But the feeling of light, the feeling of rainbows, of possibilities are here for us in order to feel all the gratitude that we all experience as we enter this week. And as you feel love and appreciation, people or things may come to mind. And especially this group of women that continue to support one another as we continue on this journey. So as you imagine your Thanksgiving in a few days, imagine that you'll keep this sense of gratitude, so that light can go out to all who are around you and within you. So in gratitude to ourselves, to one another, to all the support we've had throughout our lives, and gratitude for all those energetic forces that are unseen, that continue to support us. And feeling alive and happy to be on that mountaintop as the sun rises on a new day, a new journey, a new adventure. You look around and it starts to fade, and you feel your body here on a chair or wherever you're sitting, grounded to the earth. The energy coming up from the earth throughout your body and beyond. Breathing it in and releasing any tension. Breathing it in with possibilities. Breathing out any concerns. And breathing in gratitude. And when you're ready, stretching out to come back to being here with everyone on this call. Begin our Thanksgiving week.
Thank you. Beautiful.
Oh, you're welcome. I didn't have a crying baby. I closed the door, but I don't know if the baby would come in. Gratitude for that.
That was lovely.
Oh, thank you.
Where is the baby?
Where's the baby? They came home right as we were starting the call, and so he must be asleep out there. Yeah,
Oh, do you need to relocate so he can sleep in his room?
I'll go check. Thank you for understanding.
Sure. We'll be here. We're not going anywhere. So if you guys didn't hear me before, Marie is ill, so she's not going to be with us today. So I thought I'd throw it out there and see if there's something anybody wants to talk about or address or
I have something I just wanted to share.
Of course. Please, Amy.
It's a wonderful book that I read called Souls on Earth. And it's exploring interplanetary past lives.
Oh.
And it's by Dr. Linda Bachman, who's a psychologist. And she has, anyway, she and her husband have operate the Ravenheart Center in Boulder, Colorado, a mystery school dedicated to guiding individuals to discovering their soul path. And you can visit her online at ravenheartcenter.com.
Oh.
And what's the matter?
Oh, sorry, Penny. Janet just brought the baby in.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, forget that.
No, Penny, we'll come back to you. We just want to wave at the baby real quick.
Absolutely. Hey, let's go.
Yeah, Janet,
Wow.
for people that have only one screen, you might have to talk.
Yeah, you got to talk to him.
Okay. Sorry. This is Connor, you guys, and he's waiting for his bottle, so he's trying to keep him happy.
Ooh, sweetheart. Oh, isn't that
7 weeks old today.
Oh my
7.
gosh.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. There he goes. He's ready to eat.
He makes noises. I'm sorry, Penny. Okay.
No, it's okay. Better rather see a baby than, than talk to me.
So Penny, the book again is called Souls on Earth.
Souls on Earth.
Okay.
I don't think it's showing up very well. By Dr. Linda Bachman. Here's a little blurb. It says, Dr. Bachman reveals that from our first incarnation, our divine soul light initiates a long-term and profound climb toward higher wisdom. We also learned that some of us are interplanetary souls who are always conscious of being different, yet are here for a reason. I found this book compelling. That was from Hank Wesselman, PhD, author of the Spirit Walker trilogy. But in there are many other people that are talking about it. Anyway, I found it fascinating. I just thought,
Thank you.
you're welcome. And then the other book that I have finished also is Starry Messenger by Neil deGrasse Tyson. I know Alona mentioned that a while back. Can you see it? Let's see that way. Starry Messenger, Neil deGrasse Tyson. You know that famous astrophysicist?
Yes.
Yeah. It's awfully good. I haven't actually, wait a minute, I haven't finished that yet. I just started. The other ones I've finished. But I just, I just think a lot of us are different in some ways and not like, and I think this book kind of outlines and gives you lots of ideas about why we are, if we are, and how that relates to what we do here on the planet and elsewhere. I just, if it's something that you all want to discuss, great. If you don't, I'm just, I don't know if you had another book in mind. And I don't know if this is a book club or not. That's the other thing.
It's not really a book club, but every once in a while Marie brings something that, or Alona or Marilyn suggests something that, might benefit us as a group. But I think we do enjoy doing a couple book studies a year. So I think having something to add to our library is a good idea. Marilyn or Alona, are either of you familiar with that book, Souls on Earth? No, I wouldn't even have known how to find it.
Oh, well, you just go to Amazon. It's on Amazon.
That's my go-to.
Not a secret.
My suggestions always pop up Dr. Seuss, so it hasn't come up in my repertoire.
Are you kidding?
Well, I buy a lot of books for my great nieces and great nephews. There is a series of books by an author called Brad Metzer, where he takes ordinary people and explains how they're heroes, in people like Billie Jean King and Gandhi and people like that. That's why everything I get is related to Dr. Seuss and children's books.
Okay.
So, well, that's great. Thank you for sharing those. I wrote them down. I think maybe I'll send them out. I think I failed last week to send out an email that included something we had talked about. So I'll have to go back through my notes, but I have it written here and stapled to my computer, so I won't forget it. Yes, Alona.
So Lisa, I just need to know whether you guys want me to do the cacao ceremony, and I need to know which Monday, because I only have the first 2 Mondays in December available.
Okay, so right after this, we're going to be talking about it, and then I'll let you know today, Alona.
Okay, great.
So thank you.
What is that?
The cacao ceremony,
Yeah.
it's working with Ish Cacao, the divine feminine, and the cacao plant. So it's the heart of chocolate, right? It's the
I was
tree.
gonna say, is it about chocolate?
It's the heart of tree. It's the heart of the cacao tree and its connection with the goddess of compassion and abundance. And so it's a very beautiful ceremony. But the other thing is that you actually ingest the unrefined cacao.
There's a friend. Oh, look at that.
And it's a
Beautiful.
vasodilator, and it is an antidepressant. So it does a whole variety of things when you do it in ceremony. But if you have a heart condition, or if you're taking I think it's an SSRI, that's the only thing. You can't use the cacao because of the vasodilation. It's not recommended. But for anybody who doesn't like the flavor, I know Lisa doesn't like the flavor, just use dark chocolate. You won't get the benefit of the cacao lifting you up, and it's also very strengthening and increasing metabolism. So there's a lot of health benefits to straight cacao, period. But from our perspective, it's about love, generosity, abundance, and compassion.
Okay, thank you.
And I have to put the girls back in.
And yeah, I guess it was memorable, my reaction to the cacao last time. Yeah, it wasn't what I expected. I kind of in my mind imagined a nice cup of hot cocoa, but it really wasn't. But also reminds me of, I went to a tea ceremony in Japan. It was an authentic tea ceremony, and they warned us ahead of time to be gracious to our host. And they said, no matter what it tastes like, please be gracious and say thank you. So they had a little bowl of candies in front of us, and so we tasted the tea, and it was awful. I guess it was like alfalfa. It was thick, and like it got stuck between my teeth. I mean, it was terrible.
Doesn't sound like tea.
And, my stepdad, who was traveling with us, lacks filters. And so we're sitting in this very beautiful ceremony. It's in this gorgeous garden in Tokyo. Everybody's dressed very ceremoniously. I mean, it was just gorgeous. And he took one sip and he goes, blah, blah, blah. Like, oh my God. And I look over, and all the little Japanese women that were leading our ceremony were all going like this. Hysterical, but cacao wasn't near as difficult for me as the Japanese tea ceremony. So just throwing that out there, Alona. I might be okay.
I have a question. You mentioned if you're on SSRIs, is that like Lexapro and Prozac?
Yes.
Okay, well, there you go.
Okay, so that brings me to another question. On our journeys, are we supposed to be not taking medications, or is that okay?
Oh, I mean, medications are a miracle. They're a gift from God. I always say use them at the right time for the right reasons. Utterly grateful. Think about how many people live that just died even 50 years ago because we didn't have medications available. So it's always about being grateful for what's required. The difficult thing is to know just how long do you need something, just how much do you need of something. And unfortunately, we have to really be much more vigilant about being attentive to our bodies because our doctors don't live in them. So, just have to be really forthcoming in what our bodies feel like, what our bodies need, what our bodies don't like, and to really listen to the cells of our bodies tell us the truth. There are some things that we can take that make us feel great. There are some things that we can take that make us feel awful. And you know, there are times where we need to work through a physical issue and it isn't always pleasant, but that doesn't mean that we should, you know, you have to be really mindful and you have to be really thoughtful about what is being provided to help you live your best life. And so I'm not an anti-med person at all, not at all.
I guess my question comes from, is it lowering my vibration to be on these medications?
Not if you function well on them. If you
It's
function
the only
well
way
on
I
them,
can function. Yeah.
everything that your soul wants to deliver in the world, then it's serving the best purpose possible, right?
Okay,
You are
I love it.
incapable of
Thank you so
function,
much.
right? If you can't
Appreciate
function,
that.
you can't serve. So it's really simple. Mhm.
So
Thank
maybe
you.
the meds even out your vibration so that you're, you know, not coming from a deficit.
Mhm.
I
I
hope
say
so.
that from
Yeah.
experience.
Yes.
Gets me even. So it's like, okay, I can function now. So I'm like, if you're not taking the meds, you know, for me, if I don't take the meds, it's, you know, I can't function. So for, you know, that's just one way to look at it. It's like, you know, gets you back up to even so that you can participate.
I feel that way about
I
coffee.
agree, Lynn.
About coffee.
Marilyn, did you want to say something?
Oh yeah, I was brought up to not take an aspirin unless you were dead on the floor, to take nothing. And
Oh.
my mother brought me, she couldn't swallow pills. She thought it was, you know, everyone who was older was sick because they take too many pills. And I finally learned after a series of diseases and accidents that you really need to take care of yourself so that you don't want to jump. And I remember someone I'm still friends with, who was head of the dance department at Emerson back in the day when I was in grad school, told me that she knew a person whose knee hurt and she offed herself. And she said, you don't want to get to the place where, you know, obviously she had other things going on and she was a dancer and felt her life was over. But so these days, my brother and I both have some chronic things, and I'm the one trying to convince him that it's okay to take Tylenol and really okay to have some weed for pain, because we're brought up to take nothing. And I get the all natural thing and that you don't want to cover things over and get to the source and all that. But you know what? Sometimes you need what you need. So I'm agreeing, alone. I think it's really important if it can help you feel better and to serve, and whether it's a bridge or whether you need it longer. I'm finally getting it. And that's a big thing to learn. Yeah.
Yeah, the other
Thanks,
thing
Mary.
that I would say, Robbie, is there's a lot of, you know, homeopathic, there's a lot of, I mean, I'm a Bach flower essence practitioner, so I use that for people. And then there's all the essential oils and all the rest of that. So there are alternative ways to go, but I'm going to tell you that natural healing takes a lot longer. It is not quick. You have to hang in there longer. And sometimes it's a lot more subtle. It works, but it's just not the same kind of process that you have when you take more synthetically produced pharmacological medications. So there's also nothing wrong with going, I can't wait for this to kick in. There's absolutely nothing wrong with saying that.
Okay.
Just think how important coffee and caffeine is.
And wine.
So that's okay. Wine. I'm on the wagon with that. It's a detox that way, yeah. But don't take away my THC.
Oh, okay. Minor THC, we got it all covered here. Where's well, if I can't remember her name, I can't say where is Sita when we need her. Sorry.
That's right. That's right. Our growing goddess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have
No,
been
she's-
lucky enough to visit Sita's home several times, and it is very lush.
Well,
I-
Marilyn, you have a few plants in the backyard.
Yes, right now we're in the dormant stage. Nobody's growing right now. But yeah, Sita taught me how to grow, and it's really good. And that way, it's really funny because one of my kids wants stuff that's so mild that they won't even sell it in the store. The THC is so low. But we grow it on purpose because it helps with, believe it or not, appetite. Like I ever thought I'd need help with that. Stress and pain, but you don't really get it isn't much of a high. So it's really nice because we do exactly what the strain we want. And she taught me how to grow. So we do 4 at a time in a little greenhouse, and we feel so hip and cool.
Well, fortunately, my husband has a job at a dispensary, so I'm all set.
Really?
Yeah. Oh,
Good.
no.
Oh, no.
Ah,
Tell
what
him I
does-
said yay.
what does
I
do
told him
there,
he can't retire.
No.
Robbie, what does he do there?
He's the chief financial officer. He crunches the numbers.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
those are important. Where I live in Costa Mesa, they have just approved dispensaries last year. So people are starting to file for their licenses in order to sell. But the interesting thing is because of federal laws, the money can't go into a regular federally sanctioned bank account.
Yeah.
And they can't accept credit cards because of
Right.
federal
Cash or debit. That's it.
So the city of Costa Mesa has installed in the city hall one of the biggest safes I've ever seen. And that's where these dispensaries will make their deposits. And I don't know how it all works behind the scenes, but I found that super interesting that all the cash goes into this big, huge building in Costa Mesa. I'm really intrigued as we go forward to see how that works out. But I never really thought that federal recognition was important because, as long as the states recognize it, but I understand now why. That's a lot of cash.
Yeah. And traveling state to state is a problem with it if you get caught too.
Yeah.
Oh.
But can you go from like California to Colorado? I mean, if we share the border, say that.
If you're flying, it's not legal, but I've managed to sneak it because it's the only, otherwise I don't sleep. It's the only thing that helps me sleep at night.
Do we have an attorney amongst us in case Robbie calls us?
Yeah, my daughter's an attorney.
Oh, good.
I lucked out there too.
You have all your bases covered, Robbie.
My base is covered. She married a doctor. Life is good.
Love it. So is there anything else that anyone wants to tackle or just have a chit chat? Thanksgiving plans? Thanksgiving, it's my favorite holiday of the year. It just seems so relaxing to me just to sit in one house and eat all day. So I absolutely love it. I'm having 2 Thanksgivings this year. So I'm kind of grateful for that. And but I know that this kind of time causes anxiety for some people. Being in close areas with family members you might not agree with. So do we need to help anybody through that today? No. We're here if you need us.
We don't talk about religion or politics. That's the rule.
Yeah, and that's been, I'm sure all of us have experienced it. There are family members that I can barely tolerate anymore. And friends that are not friends any longer.
Mhm.
And, that's my decision. I don't even know if they know that they're not my friend anymore. So I did it. What's that? The least you go when you can unfriend them on Facebook, but not really unfriend them, just mute them or something like that. So they don't even know So I do have a couple friends, passive aggressive, if anything, right? And you know what? The truth is, I'm not sure if I would ever repair those relationships. I feel like the last years brought out or introduced me to, their real character and their real concerns and real priorities. And it certainly didn't match mine. I think all of us know that. We've all been through that, or whatever side we stand on. So, and I think COVID made it worse, all I could think about was getting the shot, and then to have people tell you, well, you're going to be full of lead and you're going to, the shot's going to kill you, and now they're going to track you. And I just couldn't believe that. It just was stunning. So I think we've all been in that boat before, but so I prefer to surround myself with like-minded. They don't have to agree with me, but be civil and be kind and be reasonable. And
sometimes, well, sometimes you can disagree on something as big as politics, but you can find common ground in other areas. And so that's what I try to do with family and friends, because we have very close friends who, well, you can imagine the end of the sentence, who they voted for and who they support. I'm so tired of them telling me it's the economy, stupid. I don't have a comeback for that. But
Robbie, even if you had a comeback, they wouldn't have heard it. So
yes,
that's the thing. And I find right now it's better not to say anything because it doesn't matter what you put forward, they're not going to listen or hear.
Pass the gravy.
So yes, Alona.
I did want to say I watched Spirited last night. I had a early Thanksgiving with my brothers, and we watched Spirited on Apple TV Plus with Ryan Reynolds and Will Ferrell. And it's a spin on the Dickinson's Christmas Carol that's really fascinating. So I don't want to spoil it because it's very, very good. And they really focus on misinformation and doing the right thing and being people who aren't proud of smearing others. So it's very appropriate to the time. And it's also a musical. It's very, very funny. Octavia Spencer is in it as well.
I love her.
If you want some really feel good and wonderful, positive energy, Spirited on Apple TV Plus is good. And then for anybody who has Disney Plus, they made a follow-up to Enchanted with Amy Adams and Patrick Dempsey that's Disenchanted. And it is wonderful. And there's a song that Idina sings called Love Power that is probably going to be another big hit like Let It Go was. It's that good. And they're both just wonderful, uplifting, positive holiday movies.
Thank you.
Good.
Wow.
Good to know.
Yeah. You got 2 books, 2 shows. Wonderful.
Keep it busy.
And I don't know if anyone had a chance to watch Elton John's last show last night from Dodger Stadium. Disney Plus did it live. So I'm a little bit tired tonight because it didn't end till almost a little after 11. But wow. Elton John, it's his last tour. I know we've heard of that before, but it was kind of obvious that this could be his last tour. And he brought out his family, but wow, when you start to watch him performing all these songs, and he had Kiki D come out with him. And I don't know if you remember that song that he and Kiki D sing. And I'm not going to sing it right now because I can't remember the words, but it just, all these great emotions, every single song, Crocodile Rock, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, Don't Let the Sun Go Down. Oh my gosh, you guys, I don't know if they'll replay it, but it was magical. It was a magical memory trip for me. And it felt good and it felt happy. And the audience was certainly on top of it too. So
On the
I
Disney,
think I still have all those records, so.
Yeah. was it on the Disney Channel plane or
It's
some other fancy
it's
channel?
on Disney Plus. It was Disney Plus Live. My assumption, I'm sharing this with you and I don't even know, but my assumption is that they'll be able to replay it again. And it is just 3 hours of him.
Wow.
And with a lot of his original band members and guests and costumes. And it's really lovely, very uplifting. So
I have something fun. Thank you. I have something fun to share. I collected my Mother's Day present. Sarah and her intended Joaquin took me to LA to see Lizzo.
Oh, that's right.
Wowza. 17,000 of the happiest people, mostly women you ever saw in your life. And we got there hours early. It was like everything went well. Everything just was smooth and synchronicity. People watching. It was so magnificent. And she's so positive. And she played her flute, but people were really dressed. And you know who Cardi B is? She does a song with Cardi B. So Cardi B comes out. And I don't know if you're familiar with Lizzo, but all her dancers and band, they're all like really these magnificent women. And she calls her dancers the big girls. And Cardi B comes out and she's this wide. And my brain just goes, wow, you know, it's like it's really just whatever the style is. Here are these Rubenesque women who are just, and then this little wisp comes out and you go, huh, that looks weird. And then I started thinking about how I was brought up. If you had one little ripple or what, you didn't wear whatever it was. And we were at the tail end of the girders and garter belts, you know. It was beautiful.
Yes.
These women dressed up and strutting their stuff and just gorgeous, and no more lighters. Of course, it's phones now. And it was a love fest. Really beautiful. Yeah. So, and she's just great. Yeah.
I find it, Marilyn, so refreshing. I bought a used rowing machine the other day from this woman in Huntington Beach, and I went to pick it up, and you know, she'd only used it 5 times. And so we were loading it into my car and going through this big process of lifting it up and, you know, doing all this stuff. And I said, why do we do this? I said, why can't we just be happy? I'm okay to be, you know, let's be work on my cardiovascular system and stamina and, you know, keep my weight reasonable. But why do I struggle so much, you know, and her too, you know? So then I see these women today that are all sizes and all shapes, and they wear these beautiful, sexy outfits that I would never put on in a million years. You know, they show all of their ripples and bipples and bumps and lumps. And I'm like, I wish I could have that. Maybe it's a generational thing. Maybe women feel more empowered by their, you know, sensuality now than we did. Maybe, you know, maybe it's an age thing, but I certainly wish that I could feel that confident in those little teeny outfits.
Well, when you grow up with Marilyn Monroe and all these women that were so perfectly beautiful, and I'm a lot older, I think, than you guys are, but anyway, that's the culture. That's what we grew up with. That's what we're supposed to aspire to. And it's ridiculous because hardly anybody can be like that.
Right.
You know, it's better to be the way they are, even though we may think it's kind of odd because we're not used to seeing women that are that heavy dressing in that way. But hey, I think it's amazing. Honestly, I do. I mean, I wouldn't want to do that even now, even though I don't look like that. I look like whatever I look like, but I wouldn't have the guts to do that, you know. So I'm admirous of their whatever.
Yeah.
It's really beautiful because I think the pendulum swings, you know, I mean, it was Twiggy and now it's, you know,
Oh,
you want to be
Twiggy.
healthy too, you know,
Yeah.
but she really pushes being healthy. That woman danced for almost 2 hours. She's
Right.
got stamina. And if I don't show up next week, it's because I'm in the hospital because I'm going to take up twerking. I just have to learn how to.
I want to see the video.
Yeah, no video. In the dark. But they really were talking about, there's a song, it's funny, there was a big couch and she laid on it and she said, okay, it's time for therapy now. she sang this magnificent song on the new album called Naked, and about that you have to love every bit of me, and it's really a soul song, not just a physical song. And there's such sweetness to that, but it's interesting. I think the pendulum goes back and forth in terms of style so that they can sell more things, basically, is the whole capitalist system, not her, but in terms of, I'm seeing things in the news feed, the colors for your house for this year. Do we change it every year for the, to keep up with what they say? It's interesting. But what I really loved about it, because of course, you're concerned about health stuff too. Is she really stressed, feeling good and exercising and taking care of yourself and all of that. And, it just makes me crazy because I lost all this weight. Now, after carrying all that weight for all these years, now it's hip. Okay.
I took a walk on the beach the other afternoon and I'm all, I was cold. So I was cold. And I saw these two women, one not so young, and the other one probably in her late 20s. And they had generously sized bikinis on. So they were like 2-piece bathing suits and they looked fabulous. And I thought, that looks great, right? I don't know if I could pull that off. I haven't worn a 2-piece bathing suit since I was 18, but I mean, it's like, oh, wow. So maybe we can have it all. Yeah. Right? Maybe, I mean, now I think women are saying that. Younger women are saying that. And then all the women who dye their hair gray.
Yes.
Yeah. Go figure. Go figure.
It's like we can have it all.
When I started chemo and it all started to come out, I got a wig that was gray because I thought that's what color it's like most likely to come back in as. So I said, I need something short and sassy and gray. And that's what they gave me. And I was so stunned when it did come back in, because it did come back in curly the first year or so, right? I was like, oh, this is cool, because I've always had waves, or AKA cowlicks, depending on how long the hair is. If it's long, it pulls them down into waves. And if it's short, it's cowlicks. So curls, I loved the curls. But I was stunned, and only now is it starting to come in like a little gray on the sides, and it still hasn't like really. And this wig was like iron gray, like all over, and I really liked it. But aside from the fact that it was hot and itchy, but I liked the way it looked. It's still, and I'm the oldest in the family, and my other two sisters are both well into gray. Like, no, there's like one is almost completely gray and the other probably would be, but I suspect she's dyeing it because it's a little bit too brown.
Lisa, your wig was fabulous.
I love that wig.
Yeah, I had a couple. I had a purple one, and then the kind of rainbow pastel-y one.
Yeah.
That one.
And then my professional one. But when I say profession, ladies, for bookkeeping, not for street walking.
Like, what was that? I couldn't hear. What was that?
I said professional for bookkeeping and not street walking. So
my kids got me.
Talk about confident.
What?
Sorry, Marilyn, what'd you say?
No. I was trying to hear what you were saying.
Oh, I was saying, talk about being confident, If you imagine me as, never mind, let's not go there. So, but as soon as I didn't have to wear the wig, I stopped. I didn't like the feel of it. I wore it like to a client so that I wouldn't, put them off a little bit by being bald, but I ended up just wearing my headscarves almost the whole time. I like those much better than, that, and I didn't have eyebrows. I don't know about you guys, so
Still don't.
Yeah, I still don't either, and so that was a chore trying to draw in my eyebrows the same every day. Sometimes Groucho Marx.
I questioned God after. I mean, I try and keep a sense of humor, but after the car accident, my hand was the kids referred it to as the claw because it didn't move for a long time and it was in a cast. And I'm looking at the lack of eyebrows going, okay, Lefty, what are you going to do now? And I figured it out. I got better. I got good at my left, at least, or at least if I looked like Groucho or askew, nobody told me. Well, this year, because yeah, they don't come back the same.
Yeah.
But
Marilyn, how is everybody in your house? Everybody healthy and happy?
no, everything.
Oh,
Oh, no, we have actually very good stuff. Zach is moving to LA, got a fabulous apartment.
Good.
And just as of December 1st, I don't know when he's moving. So he took the week off and he's getting his stuff together. So that's really nice. When we were in LA, we looked at a friend's house up in the hills and then looked at Victor, Sita's brother is Victor Villaseñor, who wrote all those books. So we went to the ranch and looked at that. So we're looking at all the wedding stuff and trying to figure that out. So no, it's good. It's good. Harry still has some, when we're done, we have to, doctors are very hard to chase down with opinions, and they tell you one thing and then they tell you something else, and we're just frustrated. But so we have some puzzles to figure out. So we're trying to stay sane. But so far, so good.
Well, I think twerking might help Harry.
I think so. You mean watching me or him twerking?
So watching you twerk might.
Oh, okay.
very much
Well,
like
yeah. We'll put a new spin on things.
So Robbie, in answer to your original question, I think we're all fans of medication at some level. There, half of the people on here are here because of medications. That's saved some of our lives.
Yes, indeed.
So
Yeah.
we're a fan.
Yeah. Whenever I fetch about all the pharmaceuticals, it's like, hello, we're here. So yeah, gratitude.
I will say I agree with Alona's position that you need to advocate for yourself. My stepdad had about 9 months of illness and at some point just stopped taking all of his medications for diabetes and heart and all that stuff. He just stopped. And so they've started to reintroduce a few at a time. And he went from taking 13 pills a day to taking 4 pills a day for and he's doing phenomenal. He's 84, but yeah, that I think it's we have to advocate for ourselves, because I think doctors with all their patients lose sight. So
Right. No, that's what's happening with us. Harry just has way too many medications and they're fluctuating and numbers are coming back screwy and it's so hard to follow up. So yeah, we're going to find some new doctors, a new endocrinologist today. So that's on the plan, but it's all about the healing,
yeah. It is kind of funny finding a new doctor these days, Marilyn, because you can go on Yelp.
That's true.
And the biggest complaint on Yelp about doctors is how long they have to wait. So I will say that I went to my dermatologist one time and they put me in a little room, and about, I don't know, I was there about an hour. And I finally went out and said, hey, and they had all gone to lunch and forgot that I was in there.
Oh, no.
that's
I went straight
awful.
from there to my therapist.
We're abandoned.
It's not the first time, Idele. My first Holy Communion Catholic, I was going to get my confession done. I had to go Saturday and get my confession done. So I went Saturday and kneeled down in the little confessional. If you aren't all familiar with it, you can see the shadow of the priest on the other side, but you have to practice this prayer. Oh my God, I'm heartily sorry for having offended thee. And you can't, all these things. And it was my first. So I was very nervous, going through all my sins in my head from, the last 11 years of my life or 10 years of my life. That was hard too. So anyway, I kneeled down and waited and practiced and practiced. I could hear him talking to the person on the other side. And so I thought, eventually he'll be with me. And I just sat there with my head down and then looked up at some point. I think I'd been there for about maybe 40 minutes or so. And there was nobody there.
Oh, God.
So I walked-
This is the story of your
This,
life.
this is a trend.
I walked out.
Oh.
Isn't there one of the agreements to not take it personally, though?
Well, yes. And the hardest part was I walked out of the confessional right into the middle of 5 o'clock Saturday mass.
No.
And I was standing there and everybody laughed and I ran home crying.
Oh,
So yes, there is a end.
That's great.
Maybe that'll be the title of my book when I write it. There's a trend.
Well, there's a trend.
So I'm okay though, everybody. Janet took good care of me in my moment of need. So I've dealt with all my abandonment issues, right, Janet? Janet, I don't know, I would like you to say something, but so that the people that only have one person can see the baby sleeping, but I don't want you to wake him. So I
He'll probably just make some growling noises. He makes
oh, he's precious.
this, yeah. He just started smiling and he's just so sweet. Megan does the best job. I mean, she's so much of a better mother than I was.
Oh, Janet, I don't know. I think we were just different moms back then.
I didn't know all the stuff she knows. She keeps track of everything. She's doing pumping, and so he can have the nursing milk, breast milk. But it's so hard to pump, feed, clean the bottles. And her husband's flying for 5 days. He's back in Chicago. And they've got this big dog too. So it's like we're juggling so much. It's like, oh my gosh. We're going to go to her dad's for Thanksgiving. So when you guys were talking, he and his wife are very opposite of where I come from. And it's very nice of him to have my other daughter, Hannah, and myself, and then all the family there. And so it's just really sweet that they can do all that. We don't talk politics or religion. No.
Or past marriages even.
I don't know how his wife puts up with this. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. I think it's kind of nice, my mom and my stepdad, I call him dad, not the guy that I've been talking about, but my dad, when they got married, his ex-wife had us all over for Thanksgiving often. So it was, my mom's family, my mom and her kids, and it was really a sweet thing way back. We didn't think anything of it, but growing up, knowing that that's possible makes it much easier, I think.
Pull it towards you.
Yeah, no, it is definitely a good way to do it. And they just moved down here. So they just have a house in Alpine. Do you guys know where Alpine is on the way to El Centro? It's a very kind of horse country, and they bought this really big house. And so we're going to all go see it. And his brother, Uncle Larry, a lot of you know Uncle Larry, has Alzheimer's now and is in a memory care center. So we'll go we went to see him a couple of days ago. And my daughter, Megan, goes, Mom, maybe you can come stay here or whatever. And I'm going, why would you say that? I'm working 6 days a week. I'm not. I know.
It's not in my plans.
I know.
So, well, ladies, I mean, it was just chit chat. We didn't have really any specific topic, but
when we meet again, what was the chapter that you'll be talking about?
it's the one about being angry.
Okay.
Mary Beth, I think you were going to say something, but
No, so we didn't finish that chapter, right? So we're doing the end of the chapter about being angry. We covered anger. We're done.
Page two, we start with dehumanization, page 253.
okay, yeah.
Wonderful.
So if that helped, yeah, dehumanization, that's what they want to talk about. So that's perfect. So
Well, you just gave us a couple of examples. The priest leaving confession, and yeah.
I know. I think maybe I'll have
Being
to
laughed at.
Oh my gosh, it's amazing how I turned out so good.
You did. You
And you
did.
did.
You really did.
So I hope everybody has a really, really nice holiday.
You
Yeah.
too.
Thank you. You too.
Joyful and happy. Alona, I'll get back to you today. So,
I just need to know on the calendar. That's all.
Thanks, Marilyn, for protecting us, and thanks, Jen, for being our meditation.
Yes, thank you. The meditation
Ladies,
was
have a
Thank you,
beautiful.
Lisa. And thank you, all of you. Happy Thangsgiving.
Happy
Bye.
Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. Yeah.